Speaking of costumes and what we're going to wear, what are you guys wearing next week for the Civil War?
I thought I would go with a nice
Bulletproof
t-shirt.
vest?
I picked up a t-shirt that I thought was hilarious, that my wife says she can't be seen in public with me.
So, I've got a stupid question for you.
Uh-oh.
Throw it out there.
Why can't we be friends?
Cue the
Well, we
music.
are friends, I think. Are you saying we're not?
I don't know, like we as a nation. Why can't we
Only
be
if you
friends?
agree with me. We can't disagree and be friends, Bobby. So
I disagree
better
with you
be-
all the time.
I'm disagreeing right now.
I'm just saying that's how the world is feels like is being encouraged to go.
Well,
Only stupid questions.
Talk about
Yep.
that.
So how was your Halloween?
It was good. It was all about the kids. I kept the newborn at home and just kind of presented her at the door to all the neighbors. So I got
Nice.
to watch football, hand out candy while the kids ransacked the neighborhood. It was pretty
you
good.
missed a perfect opportunity to get even extra candy by taking the baby trick-or-treating.
Yeah.
Because all that candy is now yours, not the baby's.
Yeah,
That's right.
Right. I gotta
Opportunity lost
learn and grow, Bobby. Thank you for that.
for next year.
Yeah,
Well,
next-
when Teddy was a baby, I got the front carrier,
yeah.
and I had him in it like hangover style. I went trick-or-treating. I got some candy.
Oh man.
As you
That's
should.
great.
Perfect.
Or maybe it was
excuse.
Charlie. No, it had to have been Teddy. Had to have been Teddy.
Do you guys have any adults going trick or treating just by themselves, no kids?
Not
No,
by
that'd be weird.
themselves.
That'd be
Did
creepy.
you?
We had
Did
some.
you? Okay. So
Okay.
Matt, let's first of all talk about Matt's
not that I
setup.
know of.
I mean, tell us what you were handing out.
Yeah, we gave out hot dogs and full-size candy bars.
Did you cook the
So-
hot dogs, or
Yeah, I
were
grilled
these
them up.
just-
No, I should have given them raw,
Take
but
this.
no, I cooked them up. I grilled them up in the front yard, set up a little fire pit so people could kind of sit there and had the picnic table out front and everything.
Nice.
We called them Halloweeners.
Oh, genius.
I love it. All right, now what brand of hot dogs were these wieners?
So we had a couple of different ones. We went to Costco and we got the Costco dogs. You know what I'm talking about? The big ones?
Beautiful.
seen them.
So good. So good.
Yeah. Have you ever had a Costco dog?
I have.
Okay. They're pretty good. They're big, you know. And then we went
100%
to
beef.
Sam's Club and got the Sam's Club dogs. We might have to get a few more hot dogs. So we got a few more hot dogs with the buns.
Okay.
All right.
Are they are the dogs different? It's been a while since I've been at Sam's.
Yeah, they are.
Oh wow.
So the Costco dogs are a little bit bigger.
Okay.
And we did kind of a little comparison there. They do taste a little different.
Okay.
Well, they're probably better ingredients.
I don't know.
maybe.
I didn't I should have looked at the ingredients, but it seemed like the most popular were probably the Costco.
So what
You know.
I'm thinking here, they knew that you were cooking hot dogs. Maybe they had heard word on the street is the Parkers are giving out full-size candy bars. Maybe that attracted the single adults. I don't know.
Maybe. We did
Like-
post it out on our social media page there.
That's
Almost
why
like-
the guy came. Now, was he in a costume?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
He and his wife both.
They just wanted a free hot dog.
Well, here's the thing, though. I kind of thought that, but they kept going to all of the houses in the neighborhood.
I love it.
So
All right.
I don't know what the deal was, but they were no kids, just in costume by themselves.
I mean, I forced a few parents to take candy, but they were with their kids. So
Yeah. It's
See,
different.
y'all
I
are
think,
doing
when
it
you're with
all
your
wrong
kids.
out there in Utah, because here the adults get a completely different treat.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah.
What treat is it?
Well, it depends on the house. Some houses have Jello shots. Some houses have little seltzers. Some have hard up liquor.
wow.
Some have white powder that they give you in little vials.
I didn't make it to that house,
Oh, okay.
but
Okay.
like there's a line for the kids and a line for the adults at most of the houses.
I
I've
respect
heard about you North Carolinian Linians.
That's good.
I think it's just an outside of Utah thing.
Oh,
Yeah.
is it?
But we do everything in our garages. Have you guys heard about the Midwest garage culture?
Oh, that's in the South too.
South
yeah.
too. Yeah. Yeah. You party in your garage. You hold dinners in your garage. You yeah, you set up Halloween out of your garage. Anyway, so
My neighbors just up the street, I don't think they know that they have an inside of their house because I kid you not, no matter what time of the day it is, if it's waking hours, their garage door is open. Inside their garage, they have a huge sectional couch. They've got a
Yep,
big TV. They've installed cabinets in their garage. I wouldn't be shocked if there's a sink in those cabinets.
heck yeah.
I don't think they even know how to get into said house because that's where they're always at. They love it when the neighbor kids stop by. They have a fridge stocked with snacks. They just live in the garage.
I love
It's
it.
kind of cool.
I think it's awesome.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, you're open to your neighborhood. It feels like you're connected to the community, but you're still within your own space. I think it's cool. I'm with
Yeah,
it.
I'm all for it.
So Halloween was a hit then. It sounds like we all had a pretty good time. Our families, our kids. Did our kids get a good haul? Mine did.
Seemed like it. Yeah, we have these neighbors that do carameled apples. You know, they buy them from Mrs. Kavanaugh's. If you're familiar with the area, that's kind of
I've
a local.
heard.
Okay,
Beautiful, beautiful.
so they make these caramel apples that are kind of designer ones. You know, I think they're like $8 a piece or something, but they gave those out for like
Wow.
200 of those or something.
You clearly live in a much wealthier neighborhood than I do.
No, I don't know. I just think there's some people that do their tradition. It's very tradition oriented, right? They have one thing that goes over really well, and then they stick with it for like the next 5 years, or
Yeah.
10 years, whatever. But yeah, the girls all went up there and got that, and then we had our neighbors doing hot chocolate, and we had a bunch of the kids went around and came back with a load of candy. So it seemed like it was a success.
I mean, my one feedback on Southern Halloween is the weather doesn't match the holiday. It was nice and warm, and I just don't get the Halloween vibes if it's not a little bit chill outside in the air.
All right.
I feel you.
But we had the candy. We did our traditional chili. So great time had by all. But it's hard to feel like you're in the fall sense when it's 80 degrees outside. Does make trick-or-treating much easier.
Yeah.
And less like you have to wear a coat over your costume.
That's the thing. I grew up wearing coats over my costumes in Michigan.
Me too.
So it was, it was a little different. Speaking of costumes and what we're going to wear, what are you guys wearing next week for the Civil War?
I thought I would go with a nice
Bulletproof
T-shirt. I picked up a T-shirt that I thought was hilarious that my wife says she can't be seen in public with me, but it says Felon Hillbilly 2024.
Oh, no.
I bought it thinking it would get some laughs, but she's told me I'm not allowed to wear it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
All right. Well, then tell her to lay out a different outfit for you than she normally does.
Yeah.
Are you even going to the polls, or are you?
I
gonna
have
just,
already voted.
Yeah, me too. I think that's what that's the latest thing now, right? Everybody
I got to
just-
say, early voting is amazing, and
Yeah.
and I'm sure it's going to make counting much quicker. But they're not allowed to really count anything until after the polls close on Tuesday.
Right. I don't think it's
Yeah,
So-
that's what I've heard.
Yeah.
It's preventing the long lines, is what's going to prevent. But
Right.
voting was super easy. We went up to our polls. They had a food truck or two outside of the polling place.
That's a great
Um,
idea.
That's
Yeah,
smart.
there was lots of like little tents with people trying to push their candidates, whatever, outside like the perimeter. A couple of those tents were giving out free hot dogs and hamburgers. It was extremely social. But when we went in, like there was no line. It was super slick, super easy.
That's
We
great.
got it done.
Nice.
Yeah, it's awesome. Oh, man. Yeah, we'll see how packed the polls really get. Some of these states are already saying we aren't going to know the results until Thursday, Friday.
I think that's
Like-
pretty standard, isn't it? Like
kind of a
usually
bummer,
it's.
though.
Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
kind of a
it's-
bummer, but usually it takes a long time to count and tally up those things. So.
It's a lot
lot
of
of it-
votes to count.
A lot of it is
is.
because of the mail-in, though. Like that's instead
Yeah.
of walking up to a computer and punching your immediate result, you now have something to open, verify, and count.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Well, they
Plus all
just
the dead
scan it
people
into
voting,
that
yeah.
little thing. Like I had to fill in the little bubbles, which Laura made fun of me because we went in at the same time, and she got done way faster than me. But I was trying to like fill in those bubbles just perfectly with the pen they gave me,
Oh, okay.
and so I was painstakingly trying to make it right so the machine would read it. And apparently, I'm a slow bubble filler.
Got
I
up your
can see
game.
that.
Got up your game.
This was
Slow
not the
bubble.
voting from a few years back where you poke the little hole. Like there will be
Yeah.
no hanging chads with the ballots in North Carolina.
That's
But
right.
I
Got
wouldn't
rid
be
of that.
shocked if people didn't fill in their bubbles right.
No hanging
Nah, it's not
chads.
rocket science.
Yeah.
I mean, you just got to fill out the bubble. Come on.
Well, if you go too far outside the lines, it's going to cause an invalid ballot.
Yeah.
Did you have the
Well,
same anxiety when you took the ACTs?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
I don't like
Me
filling
too.
out bubbles.
Bubbles, man. It's a flashback. It's PTSD.
Yeah.
But I
It's
find
true.
pencils fill in the bubbles way better than a pen.
You can shade really nicely. You can, yeah. I'm with
Can
you.
you
I was
use
just so
those
worried
pencils?
about going too far outside the bubble.
I don't think you can use pencils, though. Don't they
No.
instruct you to use a pen?
Yeah, it's been.
On the ACT, I thought they
No,
had to use a
no.
pencil.
I'm talking about
ACT.
Oh,
voting.
this, you have to use a pen.
Yeah. That's what I'm talking about.
All right. Well, no more hanging chads. No more hanging bobbies either.
Yeah, but then you take your thing,
Well,
and now here's where I think it's a little bit weird. There might be a conspiracy there.
Okay.
So they've got this scanner thing, right? And it's sitting on top of what to me looks like a shred bin. I kid you not. It looks like a shred bin, but it's got this big scanner on top. So you scan it in, and then it's going to this thing. I hope it's not just shredding those based on, like, what if it was programmed, like, based on what you voted? Like, it shreds some ballots, but not others?
Well, I guess that's a possibility.
I don't know. But I bet what it's really doing is it's just scanning it and then putting the paper down at the
Probably.
bottom so they could manually count if they needed to. But it's like a
Seem logical.
lockbox. But
Yeah.
yeah, so when they get the mail-in ballots, because we digressed a little bit, somebody's got to open that up, make sure that it's like legit and they signed everything right, and then they just scan it. But in North Carolina, the reason I requested a provisional ballot to do by mail because I wasn't sure I'd have time to go to the polls, whatever, on poll day, not realizing the early voting. But you had to get it notarized, witnesses, you had to attach a copy of your ID. And I was like, this is too much work. So then we went and did the early voting instead.
nice. Oh, that's good. Yeah, I don't mind that. It's sent to an address. It's addressed to a specific person. At least that's how it is here. So it's
I just want to take this opportunity to encourage all of our listeners out there to go and vote.
rock.
If you haven't
Oh, yeah.
done so
Everyone
already,
should vote.
get out there and do it. Even if you have to go stand in line on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Just make sure you
here's
exercise
the
your
deal.
civic responsibility.
If you don't vote, in my opinion, you have no right to complain for the next 4 years.
Well, that's bold.
But if
But
you
you're
did
right.
vote, you can complain all you want.
Sure.
Yeah,
You took a shot, right?
you did take a shot.
Take your shot. You only get one shot for
Do not miss
every 4 years.
this chance to blow. This opportunity comes once in a lifetime.
Yo,
Well,
so
every 4 years.
yeah,
No.
no,
Quoting an Eminem
Or
song. there,
is
Bobby.
this the last election ever, which we hear every 4 years?
so Bobby, we hear that every 4 years, more and more and more and more. Like with every election, this is the last one. This is your last chance to save this country.
This is the most important election of your lifetime.
It really is.
There's a lot of fear mongering out there, I think.
I think that's it, Matt. I think that's it, Matt.
Yeah.
Fear. So, I've got a stupid question for you.
Uh-oh.
Throw it out there.
Why can't we be friends?
Cue the
Well, we
music.
are friends, I think. Are you saying we're not?
I don't know. Like we as a nation, why can't we
Only
be
if you
friends?
agree with me. We can't disagree and be friends, Bobby. So
I disagree
better
with you
be-
all the time.
I'm disagreeing right now.
I'm just saying that's how the world is feels like is being encouraged to go.
Well, have you
If
been
you-
on Facebook lately?
Don't.
Yeah, unfortunately, there's
Yeah,
a
There
lot
is
of
some anger out there.
Don't.
that. There is.
It's like
Yeah.
a trash bin on fire, and it's like, what has gotten into these people?
Just
Yeah,
skip
there's
it
a
for the
lot of
next
anger.
week, I think is my advice. I don't know.
I just want to know when we're going to get back to funny memes.
I
Right?
don't think it's just Facebook. I think it's all of social media. I
It
mean, you
is.
see
Oh,
that
yeah.
angry stuff on
Definitely.
Instagram and Twitter. Well, it's not Twitter. X. You see it on X
Yeah.
Yeah.
and all those things. You know.
I'm with you. What you just said, Bobby. I'm in it for the memes, and they are getting dark and not as funny anymore.
Yeah.
As we get closer to the actual
Mm.
election day, they get mean and very, I mean, not offensive, but they get just they're trying to cut. They're trying to get deep here, and I want more humor. I want that back.
Why are
So
people getting so mean? Why do you think
it,
that is? What's the reason behind
it
it?
gets so intense sometimes. Um, I don't know. Well, I think we've already mentioned the biggest one, in my personal opinion, and that's the social media effect. So I don't know. Do you agree with this statement or not? The ideological gap between political parties has widened considerably over the past few decades. Do you agree or disagree? Is that
Hmm.
too bold of a statement? I don't know.
I
Well,
don't think so.
I think it depends on where you're looking for the answer to that question.
Okay.
That's true.
Because if you were to watch any of the mainstream media sources, and I'm talking about Fox News, CNN, MSNBC, ABC, CBS, all of those acronyms, like I've turned on the TV a few times on many of those channels, right? And every one of them is inciting rage.
Yeah.
And they are not unbiased news organizations at all in at this point in time, when maybe I'm not remembering correctly, but it seems like many years ago the news was a little bit more unbiased. You could go to and hear what's going on from both sides. That's not the case anymore. So I think that drives anger with people. But everyday people, like, and I'm in a swing state. So that what that means for those of you who are not in a swing state, that means supposedly there's a lot of people with differing opinions around me that may vote differently. I've met a lot of people. I think people are more aligned than the news makes you think, because I've yet to get in an argument at the gas station. I haven't gotten in an argument at any restaurants, whatever. Like, people are just people and they're having conversations, and it's not like we're not talking about certain topics, but you get on Facebook, whatever, or watch the news, and you would be led to believe we're about ready to duke it out all the
Right.
time.
Yeah, and I made that stupid comment at the beginning of the Civil War, but they make it sound like that's what's going to happen, regardless of who wins next week. So,
I think there might
yeah.
be. I mean, there could be some truth to maybe some of that stuff because we've seen. I mean, we saw riots break out before. You
Right,
know,
right.
I'm worried that whatever the outcome of this election, one side is going to be obviously pretty emotionally hurt and upset, and I think that results sometimes in those violent protests or whatever. I'm
Right.
hoping that doesn't happen this time. I'm hoping that people can be a little bit more level-headed, whatever the outcome is, and just kind of put it past you and not get so emotionally involved to the point where you feel like violence is the answer. What do you think though is in it for these news organizations to incite that violence? Is it just viewership? Is it just getting numbers? Do you think for some reason people want to hear that stuff, or what is it? What's in it for them?
They need the clicks. Do they not? they need they need
So
the
it's just
eyes.
driving traffic.
Yeah.
Is all is just the shock of it to try and drive more traffic to their news outlet? Is
I
that
think
all it
this is
is?
the other end of the social media effect, is when you look at the I think Bobby rattled off all of the major news organizations, right? Look at their ratings as of late. They used to draw millions of people. Now they're down into the hundreds of thousands.
Hmm.
They've lost significant viewership too, in most people's opinions. the diversity of media at this point. You can go get news anywhere. You don't have to turn on CNN or Fox to get your news anymore. And so they have to become, I think, in this case, partisan media to get those viewers and those clicks. They're all bought and paid for. I think we've talked about that on our other podcast. They all have sponsors who have agendas, and they need your clicks. Right. They need your eyes.
Yeah, they're definitely trying to drum up some viewership because they have lost significant numbers.
Right.
And social media has proven it, that people gravitate to the things that either incite rage or are more likely to get opinions one way or another, right? The things that don't get a lot of traffic is the happy stories that everybody can agree with.
That's too bad.
Okay, guys, what's next? Because clearly all of our friends hate each other on social media.
Right.
How do we move forward? Because somebody is going to win, or one side's going to win, one side's going to lose. What does that mean for us?
Yeah, I agree.
So I'll repeat my question. Why can't we be friends?
Here's the thing. I think we can be.
Yeah. Okay.
So let's face it. I've got some friends with very different opinions than mine politically. It has never stopped me from having conversations, but I intentionally don't talk about things that are going to make them angry if I know we're clearly not agreeing on that thing.
Yeah. Pick your battles.
Like, I don't try and piss them off, unless it's certain people, then I might. But somebody's clearly going to win. Somebody's clearly going to lose. People are going to have their feelings hurt, and some people are going to be overly ecstatic no matter what. Guess what? The sun comes up every day.
Ooh.
And
the sun will come.
I think life will go on regardless of who wins. And like, my happiness is not tied to who wins or loses on Tuesday.
Yeah, I think that's a healthy perspective.
Yeah, I wish more people had it. I wish more people had that perspective. I think we'd be I don't think we'd be having this conversation if more people had that perspective.
Oh, there's some angry people.
Man,
there's some people that I am shocked to see how angry they get on the socials.
It's terrible.
Which is,
and I would
funny.
Be lying if I didn't say that I actually kind of like watching them argue with each other online, and I like to get out some popcorn.
Guilty.
I try not to get in those fights online as much as possible because I don't think it really matters at the end of the day. Like, let's be honest, no matter what I say online, nobody's going to sway their opinion one way or another.
Everybody's got their opinions formed at this point, but it is what's funny and cool, I think, is it brings out some super funny and hilarious memes.
So good.
I mean, if you're cruising the internet and looking at some of the memes on both sides, they're just hilarious.
The internet is
there's a lot of clever people out there, I think.
There's so many. Yeah, there are professional comedians who are not being paid for their opinions and their memes. It's just so much.
True.
Well, I've got a visitor. Let's see what happens here.
I hear a child.
All right, what's up?
Hey, you're not old enough to vote.
Depends on which part of you're part of.
Ouch. That might be true.
Let me give this kid a little device here.
Go discipline them, Brandon.
Keep them busy.
Uh-oh.
So I read
some funny songs.
I read an article the other day. Some really funny songs. So I was reading an article, and it states that and I think this makes sense, we spend more time inside than we ever have in the history of the human race now.
I agree with that.
Okay. And yeah, it's pretty obvious why. We have so many devices, so many creature comforts. Nice homes
it's real hot outside.
You got the air conditioning or the heater, and then you add the social media aspect and the devices so I think it's easy to get into these echo chambers. What do you think? Is that a true false statement?
Sure.
It's so easy to just get tunnel vision. You're scrolling, you're looking at these funny memes, and
Well, and the algorithms pick up on everything
Yeah.
like you look at and you interact with. You don't even have to like it or whatever. But like if you're watching a reel or a TikTok, whatever, just the fact that you stopped on that one tells the algorithm that you like that stuff. And I kid you not, like I've stopped on some stuff that I didn't agree with, but I stayed on it because I was clicking at the comments and I was reading the comments, so it just kept replaying,
exactly.
right? Yeah. Now the algorithm thinks that's my thing. And
Yeah.
I get so many recommendations for that same thing. And it's like, well, guess what? That's not good, but the algorithm's trying to push me what it thinks I want and what I'll interact with and spend more time on there because that drives ad revenue and stuff. So yeah, it's now you're getting stuff pushed to you that might be swaying you further down the rabbit hole and automatically thinking, well, because that's what I see all the time, everyone else must agree with this as well. When in reality is that's probably not the actual norm. You're just being fed a ton of stuff on one side or the other side. It could be completely crazy, mistruths, lies, whatever. But now you're going to be fed more and more and more of that. And so, yeah, these echo chambers are real.
And if you're not interacting with real people in the real world, I think it's easy to plan for a civil war. It's easy to think that we're completely divided now. And yeah.
You know, the real war is not between the American people, though.
They want you to think it.
Even though I think some people get a little cray-cray, they get a little angry online and might need to take a chill pill or take a few drinks, take a break from social media, like they're feeling a little angry, like, did you eat your Snicker, Betty? I think there's a lot of that going on. I think in real life, people actually just want to be friends. They need to socialize. I think the real war is against the American people and the media and the politicians who are leading us to believe that everyone is on one side or the other and that there's only two sides and that tomorrow is going to be the end of civilization as we know it if one candidate doesn't win over another. Because let's face it, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what any politician on either side of the aisle promises. There is checks and balances in the system that not just one person can change things as crazy as people think.
Right.
Yeah, that's true. So I think to deal with all of this stuff, if we want to get into that a little bit, is just kind of breathe. Take a deep breath. Just relax. Take it easy. Listen to some calming music or something, some Enya, or something like that. And
There's
just
some
relax.
great apps out there for meditating.
Yeah, breathe app.
I use an app. I don't even know what it's called, but I use it for sleep meditation. It helps me sleep like a baby.
Nice. Wow. Yeah, do some yoga, some stretches, some deep breathing exercises, whatever it takes. Let's all be friends after Tuesday.
Well, you know, people should just get out and be friends, hug, buy somebody a meal, smile, laugh. Maybe for the next couple of weeks, just don't talk about politics.
Probably a good idea. Just don't even bring it up.
Maybe if your candidates won, don't gloat to the person you know that didn't. I'm gonna have to take that up with my wife. I played some pranks on her recently, politically.
Oh boy, gotta take it easy on her.
Viral on that TikTok there, Bob.
I may or may not have put up some candidate signs of people she clearly doesn't agree with in her yard just to get her reaction.
Oh man,
that would
may or may not have
for me.
I love the fake political signs. You guys got any favorites of those?
I haven't really seen any around here that much.
My favorite's Giant Meteor 2024.
Mm-hmm. Oh, gee.
I like that one a lot. Or like famous actor duos. It's funny. I like it. Oh, it's tough. Even a political sign can get you vandalized or hated.
You see the ones where the guy's hiding behind the sign. He's hiding behind the whatever. I can't remember which candidate, but he's hiding behind the sign. When they come up to vandalize it, as soon as they tear down the thing, he shoots them with this confetti gun.
Wow!
And it's hilarious.
That is
Anyway.
funny. I like that.
Well, did you know it's illegal to remove political signs?
Yeah,
It's
I
proper.
think
There's
it's a
some
pretty
fines.
serious crime.
Yeah. Well, there's this guy I saw that he was sick of people stealing his political signs, but rather than call the cops, he put some like road strip spikes with the signs because
man.
people kept running over his signs
Yeah.
Oh,
in
geez.
his median. And this person got the flat tires, whatever, and was pissed. Well, stay on the road.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. Just did you see the guy that put the electrical wire around his
Oh,
his
no, I didn't
signs?
see that
I've
one.
seen
Yeah,
that
that
one.
one's pretty funny too.
That's really
So when
funny.
people come up to grab the sign or whatever, zzz, you know,
Mm-hmm.
It's like flies to the light, man. It was so funny.
yeah.
My older brother, his neighbor, who I've known for years and years and years, because my brother lives in the same community I grew up in. I'm assuming the story is true because my brother told me, and he would never lie to
then
me, right?
it's definitely true. Keep going.
Got to be
Yep.
true.
But I know their political leanings are very opposite of each other. And if I remember right, said neighbor, who I've always thought was super holy, may or may not have piled up a whole bunch of dog poo in a bag and put it on his doorstep after he stole his political sign.
Oh man.
Oh,
Well,
holy cow.
I'm not
And then-
condoning any of this,
Holy-
by the
holy
way.
crap.
Before my brother even noticed what had happened, the guy's conscience got the best of him, so he baked him a whole bunch of cookies and brought them over.
Ooh, I don't know if I trust
And he
those.
I don't know if
confessed.
I need those either. What's that movie when the lady bakes the Help? Yeah,
I love that.
kind of reminds me of a situation.
Never look
like
at pie
that.
the same ever again.
Right?
Oh my gosh.
Not a chocolate pie, that's for sure.
How much of that is happening? Again, in that same article, who said that we're inside more than we ever have, it says that 1 in 10 people have ended a serious relationship because of political views.
It's probably true.
Man. Now,
You
1
know
in
what
10.
it reminds me of?
Yeah.
People
okay.
get so emotional about that. It's like the rivalry, football rivalry. Like several years ago, I got so angry
I think
that one of these guys on this current podcast that you're watching
It was me.
was inciting me pretty drastically online, and I fell into his trap and was responding, typing heavy on the computer. I think I might have almost broke my keyboard. I was typing so hard.
Well,
So
to
this-
your
this is-
credit, I didn't really care one way or another all that much.
Yeah, you were just trying to get my.
But
goat.
I was having a lot of fun just like poking the bear.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, it worked. I'm just
It
saying
did.
that same thing kind of can happen if we allow ourselves to get so involved in these political debates, especially online, when that's just not a good forum to discuss. It's like we talked about earlier. If you go and have these conversations face to face, you're going to be less likely to say something that's going to end your friendship over a political rivalry or something.
No, you're exactly right.
So can't we all just get along?
Why can't
Everyone
we be
respect
friends,
each other's
man?
opinions.
Yeah.
Move on.
So kumbaya. So what comes quickly after the election is a big holiday, Thanksgiving, that family might be coming over.
My favorite holiday. Yeah.
I love Thanksgiving. You get to eat a lot of food. People come over and you eat with them. Thanksgiving is usually pretty tough in an election year because everybody's got a crazy uncle, crazy aunt, whatever, crazy parents,
Some of them listen to
crazy
this
kids,
podcast.
for that
Shout out.
matter. Yeah. So how should you approach Thanksgiving coming up?
How do we survive Thanksgiving?
Just
Yeah.
leave it at the door, man.
Oh,
Just
man.
leave it at the door. Don't bring it in. That's my advice. I would say just don't even approach the whole political subjects.
Yeah,
Just leave
focus
them.
on what
Leave
we
them
have in common, right? Like, hey,
Right.
we're
The
all
Lions,
alone.
family.
Positive.
The Detroit
How's that
Lions are doing
turkey?
well. Yeah.
The
come on.
turkey's too dry. So and so's yams. Rail on the weird neighbor down the street.
Like what the hell? Peanut turkey?
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
I think we can all
Yeah,
get together on that
exactly.
one. Yeah, that's
I think we can all rail on that. And
That's
I
a
haven't even
united-
eaten it.
that's a united topic. Pumpkin pie is gross. Yeah, I mean we can really keep
Pumpkin
that
pie
going.
is
Wait.
delicious.
Whoa. Did you just say pumpkin pie
Hold
is
up.
gross?
It is not gross.
The older I get,
now
the
we can't be
less,
friends.
the less I tolerate it. We just became the 1 out of 10 who just
Okay, you got to
Or
make
dissolve.
it like homemade. You got to have it cold, pull it out of the fridge, put some fresh whipped cream on there. That's
Nothing
yummy.
finer.
I need like a gallon of whipped cream with it to make it.
No, pumpkin is delicious. Pumpkin chocolate chip cookies, pumpkin bread.
I do
Now you're
love all of
talking.
that. I love all
Making
of
me
that.
hungry.
Then what in the heck is wrong with you?
It's the texture. It's that weird gelatinous texture that sometimes
Do
you
you
get
like
with a pumpkin
pudding?
pie. I do, but
That's not the texture then.
but that pumpkin pie is just something else.
I don't know that we
I
can
think you
continue
might not
this
have had
episode.
any good pumpkin pie.
Oh.
Yeah, you just haven't had any real good.
Don't
pumpkin
get the Walmart store-bought pumpkin pie. You gotta have good stuff.
You know, I don't mind the Costco pumpkin pies
Costco
Just
does a
because-
pretty good job.
because they use like real pumpkin. They put it together, minimal ingredients. But again, I still need like a huge scoop of vanilla ice cream, or
Well, I'll be
Anyway.
honest. The whipped cream is delicious.
I need the whipped cream. Yeah, I much prefer like an apple crisp, or
Ooh, that's good too.
oh baby, yeah, just something
Yeah,
maybe a
but
little caramel on
chocolate silk
Ooh,
pie.
yes.
That's yummy.
Cherry
Preach.
pie.
it. Preach.
Cherry
See,
pie is
this,
good,
this
too.
is what we need to bring us together
Yeah.
as a nation.
Yeah. People talk about what's good in the world.
So, as far as surviving the upcoming holiday and keeping our relationships intact, I'm reminded of a quote by Stephen Covey. For those of you who have read his series of many business-related books, even
May he
self-help
rest
books.
in peace.
Yeah, and some of his sons have kind of kept that going. His family. People, and I'll paraphrase. Basically, people listen to reply instead of to understand, and I think that's what's really part of the problem. They can't wait for you to shut your mouth so that they can say what they need to say instead of really understanding where you're coming from. What do you think?
Yeah. Well, did you know it's okay for people to have a different opinion than you?
I don't think we know that nowadays. I don't think.
Yeah.
That's true. I think that's lost on a lot of people.
Yeah.
Well, I think one of the things everyone should keep in mind is, what if I'm wrong? Because I think we always think we're right. Like, I know I'm right, so like I don't have to ask myself this question. But you know, my wife should at times be like, "Is it me? Am I the problem?"
Right.
Because if we all asked ourselves that question, I think we'd be more understanding. And yeah, so regardless of the issue that you might be super passionate about, you may not have it 100% right. And guess what? I don't think any of the political candidates have it 100% right, no matter what they're saying on either side of the aisle. I think compromise is needed across every single issue because there's more than one aspect of every issue. And if everybody just came together, had a conversation, we might be able to meet in the middle. But you're right, Brandon. If people are only responding to reply and they're not even listening, you never get anywhere.
I think we
And
all know
that's
those people.
even outside of politics.
Yeah, we know those people in our lives where, man, as soon as I give this person a reply, they're just going to say what's on their mind and what's boiling up inside of them. They aren't really going to listen to me. And it's disheartening to have a conversation with somebody like that.
I mean, I'll confess, there's several times I've been in work settings where I'm not listening to the person. I'm just formulating my next response.
Right on.
It's
it
human
depends,
nature.
Right?
It
depends on the
happens.
It happens to
situation.
all of us. Yeah.
It really does. I think we've all been guilty of that. Absolutely. But it makes a huge difference when you find that person who asks themselves, even internally, maybe I'm wrong. I'd like to hear your point, and maybe I learned something. I think that's where Covey comes in. He mentions that you can't learn when you're talking. You learn when you listen. And
Amen.
man, yeah, I think that's something that can help us get through this. So I'd like to tell you guys about the gospel of the Detroit Lions now. Are you guys willing to listen so that we can get through things?
I've been listening
together?
since the season began, brother.
That's what I'm
I'm
talking
on the
about.
same page.
Let's bite some kneecaps together. Let's talk about how there's some hope for this Thanksgiving when the Lions play. No, I'm okay.
No, the Lions are my vote to go to the Super Bowl this year.
Thank
Hopefully
you.
they can
I
pull it off.
accept your fandom.
Who are they playing on Thanksgiving Day?
Well, so it's the Bears. It's a division
Bears.
rival. We're gonna play the Bears.
All right,
And
I'll
so,
go for Detroit on this game, but only
all right.
that game.
And half of the team I work with at work are from Chicago, so I'll have a little bit of
I
rivalry
hate the Bears.
banter with
I'll
them.
just be open
Bears.
about that. Can't
Oh
stand
yeah.
them.
We'll talk about De Beers. But Matt, I think you brought up the point that I got out of this after reading some of these articles, after really considering why we are at each other's throats politically in this country. I think people are just now catching on to the fact that they are now sports fans and they don't even know it. They've picked a team and they've allowed the rivalry to get so bad that relationships suffer, that we can't even look at each other without judging each other based on the team that we've picked. So I think people like my wife, who could not care any less about sports, kind of knows.
Couldn't care less.
That's what I just said, right? Could not
No,
care
you
any
said not
less.
care less.
They could not care any less. Bobby, are you listening to reply or are you listening to me?
I'm clearly not listening.
I need to ask myself, am I wrong though? Okay, so let's learn together and grow.
You're wrong.
I could not care any less, and my wife could not care any less. Okay, I'm just saying.
I could care less.
People like my wife can now see maybe how I feel as a sports fan by looking at the political environment that we're in. I think we've reached a level of tribalism in this country that exceeds logic. I don't care if I'm right or wrong. I've picked a team, and I'm going to die on this hill.
Yeah, they're selling merch, all kinds
Yeah.
of things.
Exactly. Yeah, there's merch, there's coaches and owners and players.
Hey,
on both
we didn't even
sides.
bring this up, but have you seen you can actually gamble on the
Right.
election this year?
Yeah. Well,
so
and you can invest. You
Matt
can
and I-
invest. It's not
Matt
a
and I were
gamble.
looking. So Matt showed me this investing app that we both utilize. I think maybe you do too, Bob. Yeah, you can actually place futures bets, and betting via these investment apps. It's unbelievable.
Yeah,
I
like it's
believe they
gone
call
into
them a
sports
contract,
betting.
right?
I think we can say the
A
name
futures
of it.
contract. Yeah.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
the Robinhood app specifically, and I think some other apps do it as well. Matt and I were having a lot of fun with that.
Yeah, you can buy it for like 60 cents or 50 cents or whatever, and then for every contract that you win, you get $1. So if your candidate wins, and there's only, for some reason, they excluded all the other candidates and just went with 2.
Well, because only 2
Yeah.
can
Who
win,
knows
right?
why?
It's all that matters. We're a two-party system.
That's right.
Yeah.
So anyway, you can vote on whichever side you think is going to win, and then if they win, you get $1 per contract. So
You know, I just wish it was like horse betting, that if your horse lost the race and broke their leg, that they'd just shoot them.
Wow.
wow, that went really dark. It was
That
it was
was-
good and lighthearted, and then
Super dark.
boom,
Hey,
just like
maybe
that.
shoot both sides.
Oh,
Get a new
well, I think
horse.
that's already been attempted at least twice
Twice.
on one side.
Allegedly, according to some people.
Is that right? Is that still not a proven thing?
There's people that think it's a hoax. They think that
Oh, for
this
real?
one party put their own people up to doing it.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Let me show.
I think it's kind
let
of
me-
far-fetched.
Anyway, so yeah, this is what Matt showed me the other day from Robinhood. So this is a commodities trading, but it's gambling. Let's just be real here. So,
Yeah.
for example,
Put your money where your mouth is.
Well,
Yeah,
the stock
example,
market is a gamble, anyways. So,
if I feel
same thing.
like Kamala Harris will win the election, I can buy a $1 contract for 45 cents. And so if she wins, my 45 cents turns into $1. If that makes sense here. 58 cents for Donald Trump. This was just a few hours ago, as far as what the betting odds are right now. And so most people, in this case, kind of what the breakdown here is, I win less if Donald Trump wins, meaning the line has been set to where they think Donald Trump is going to win the election here. And so the winnings would be less, if that makes sense. So it's like a Vegas
Now-
odds betting.
Is this line dynamic based on the number
It
of
is.
people casting their dollar for either side?
It absolutely
This is the most genius way, though, to do a poll, because
Yeah.
you've got some skin in the game. But looking at these numbers, you've got almost 90 million people
so
well, maybe
far.
not 90 million people, but you've got $90 million at stake here. So are they allowing you to cast more than $1? Like
Yeah.
you could
Yeah.
do like say 100 contracts.
Right. You
It's
totally
as many
could.
as you want.
So you got $90 million that's been thrown out here. That's a decent way to do a poll because that's way more than these polls. Because have you seen how small the audience is on those polls? It's like 200 random people, and we're going to trust that to say that that's predictive of the elections. And yeah, it's statistics, but hey, we got 90 million pieces of decision here.
But just like sports betting, the line moves. And so these numbers will update based on Robinhood not wanting to lose the house. So
Yeah.
it's really interesting. So these numbers were 60-40 just yesterday. So it was like 61-41, I think. But yeah, it's interesting as more people put bets on one side, the line moves to get you to potentially place bets on the other side. And
Now the downside though is a person like Elon Musk could totally sway this by saying, "I'm going to drop $1 billion
right
into this on one side."
he's been known to drop $1 billion here and there, hasn't he? So
Whereas as a human, he has one vote, but in this, he could have 1 billion votes.
yeah, he really
True.
could.
Yep.
Oh man, so yeah, that's if you wanted to mess with the little man like that. That's really interesting. That's crazy. That is a commodities, futures, and stock trading company putting that forward. So that's really interesting.
So did
And
you
that
guys cast your contract for it?
I did.
One
And I'm
side
not
or the
gonna
other?
say. No, I didn't. I actually didn't pull trigger.
No, I don't want to do that.
Yeah,
I think it
I
reinforces
haven't done
my-
any of the betting or anything on it because I still feel like it's kind of shady to put bets on the elections, but
Something
it's
that's-
happening.
Something that's already
Yeah.
been rigged. It's interesting.
Never know.
I think this reinforces my feeling like we've now introduced other people to how we feel as sports fans based on the hatred and the rivalry and this just confirms it, man. They're now opening up sports betting on this stuff.
Well, regardless of what the outcome is on Tuesday, I promise not to hate any of you more or less than I do today.
Wow. That's a heck of a promise, man. Do you pinky?
Thank you.
Can we?
Yeah, I got 2 pinkies in on
That was
that.
big of you.
Yeah, okay. Oh, it is big of you, and I hope our listeners feel the same way. And if anything comes from this podcast, let's maybe recap here. So vote, right? Number 1, do it.
Absolutely. Get out there
Definitely.
and do it.
If you don't
Number
vote,
2,
you can't complain.
you can't complain
That's right.
if you don't vote. Maybe number 2, listen to understand instead of listening to reply. Just maybe hear out the other side if you have that opposite viewpoint in your life.
Amen.
How about number 3? Don't intentionally try and incite rage with people.
Some people do that.
I like
they just
that
want
one,
to,
too.
as they say in Batman, they just want to watch the world burn. I think some people are just built like that. But
Well, I love inciting rage with my wife because I like to see her reactions.
It's funny.
And I need to stop doing that.
okay, we need to stop. You're right. That should be a
I
takeaway.
laughed so hard last week, but I got in big trouble.
Yeah. How's that couch?
How's your back from that
How's
couch?
your back, man?
It's not good.
Oh, well, shout
But
out
the
to
laughs,
Laura.
I laughed pretty hard.
Was it worth it?
I thought it was funny, but
Well.
if she listens to this episode, no, it wasn't worth it. I learned my lesson.
Oh no. Number
saying the
4
right thing.
takeaway, should we say electrify or booby trap your political signs? Should
Yes.
that be one of should that be one of the
Definitely booby
takeaways?
trap
and
the
then
political
film it.
signs.
You
Then
got to film it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just leave the
Hide a
signs
camera.
there. Don't touch them. But I'll just say, when the election's over, can people please come and pick up their trash? I don't
Man.
need to be seeing these signs for months on end.
They stick around for a while, man. Yeah, big takeaway though for me, and pumpkin pie is gross. I think that's what I'm going to go away with.
All right, shut that up right now.
Nope. Nope.
I don't know if we can be
Shut
friends
that
anymore.
up.
We're just acquaintances now. Yeah,
That's right. No longer friends.
The way I said that's going to sound like you bleep me out,
I,
but I didn't actually swear. I just said shut the up.
I can edit it however I want and make it sound however I want. I'm
Yeah,
gonna,
you can.
I'm gonna run a smear campaign on Bobby.
You could bring some AI in and make it sound like I said something I didn't say.
Is this the man you want to be friends with? Listen to the language that Bobby uses.
You know what? I'm going to be excited not to hear. Like, I don't know about Utah, but here in North Carolina, every time I turn on anything between everything, every ad's political, but they're all so negative. And it's like one on one party, super negative about the other party. Then it transitions to the other party, super negative about that one. And then it just goes back and forth. And it's like, you know what? All these ads were complete lies and fabrication of facts. And I question, like, does that actually work? And yeah, apparently it does. People get real interested in this, and it's like, stop it. Let's go back to ads about erectile dysfunction and cereal.
Amen. Well, like here in Utah, one political party kind of dominates, and so we aren't getting that here. But our family trip to Yellowstone a few weeks ago in Montana. I now know every single person running for office in Montana, and I know how the other side feels about them. Because
is Montana really that big of a question?
It is. I couldn't believe it. I could not. It shocked me how unbelievably political every single advertisement was, both physically and on streaming devices, on radio.
They find you.
Tim Sheehy is the name that I kept hearing over and over. So I Googled and I researched, and I'm not even a Montana resident. I now know way too much about Tim. And it's crazy. Whereas here, I'm not hearing anything here because half of our candidates are running unopposed. Like, that's how one-sided it is. But
it's true,
man. Yeah, it's crazy. I'm sorry, Bobby, that you're going through that. I mean, that's something I endured in Michigan and Pennsylvania growing up, and now you're getting a taste of that in Carolina.
Yeah.
Dang.
According to the commercials, all of us hate each other.
Right.
Don't listen to it, man.
Oh, okay. I won't listen.
Don't listen.
All right.
And my kids, like, it goes so far that my 7-year-old son, George, he tells me which candidate I should be voting for based on what he hears when he's watching his little kid shows. And it's like, who's advertising to these little kids? Like, this 7-year-old can't vote, one. But he keeps telling me, he's like, Dad, you've got to vote for Kamala.
Here's the thing. The 7-year-olds can't buy cereal either. But who do you think is going to tell their parents to vote?
That's true.
Exactly right.
Yeah, so little 7-year-old Georgie's been telling me who I should be voting for, and not just the presidential candidate. Like, he can spout off facts according to these commercials on several of the candidates.
Unreal,
nice.
Right? Unbelievable.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
And some of them are so funny, even if they're trying to be serious. It's so funny to me. Because it's not that deep, but it is at the same time. So I get it.
Right.
I get it. Why can't
we
all right. Well, this has been fun.
Sing us out, man.
Oh, I heard it. I heard an audience in the background.
Yeah, an audience has shown up. Do you want to say hi, little Chucky?
Hello.
Come here.
Who should we vote for? Who do we vote for?
Hey, come here. All right. Hold
there
on.
she is. Wow, getting bigger.
She's a Gryffindor girl. Is that
Charlie.
right?
On live air.
Nice.
Hey, how's it going?
Hello.
Hey, who do we vote for? The Rizzler?
about
Are you
it
making the
long.
Rizzler?
Who should we vote for? Who should
me
we vote
Ohio.
for president?
Ohio. I hate Ohio.
Yes.
But you think I should vote for Ohio? Okay.
Yes.
What about SpongeBob? Should we vote for SpongeBob? Would he be a good president?
N-O.
Whoa.
Amen. I
We
like
got an
it.
anti-SpongeBob crowd here. Okay. What's a cartoon character you would vote for president? would make a
Gumball
good-
Watterson.
Gumball for president?
Here you go.
I've seen T-shirts with Gumball on it for president. Okay. Wow. I like it. You've heard it here first, folks. This is the future
like
of
it.
our nation. I love it. Hey, thanks for popping
Thanks for
on
your
the pod.
input, Charlie.
Nice. I hope we can still be friends, and
That teeth
I
are
look-
floating.
I hope that we can remain friends after this, and we'll see what happens.
Why can't we be friends? Why can't we be friends?
Hey, thanks for listening to the Only Stupid Questions podcast. Give us a like and a subscribe. Please leave a review wherever you listen to your podcast.
Only stupid questions.